Hello everyone. Happy Wednesday. How are we doing? We are live. I hope you're well. Hope you're having good weeks. Are you all good? Sorry, I completely forgot what I was doing. Oh, just for a minute there, I just completely checked out. That was good, wasn't it? How are you all? Are you all good? Are you all happy? It's Wednesday evening. Means we're at the halfway point of the week. I'm having a very busy, very productive week. I've got a lot of stuff done. Can't tell you about any of it, but I've got a lot of stuff done. So that's all I can say. So tonight, I'm going to give in to one of my impulses that has been developing over the last couple of months. That impulse is that of the Space Marine. That's why tonight's stream is called the Siren's Call of the Space Marines. I absolutely one of the things that for me is just so what would you call it, synonymous with tabletop wargaming, as my hobby has always been for a very, very long time, has been the Space Marine. And Space Marines have been kind of ever present at all times in all of my hobby, regardless of what I'm currently like fixated on. There's Age of Sigmar, or as of course the recent thing has been, of course, Middle Earth strategy battle games. Space Marines is where I always seem to end up, and things have been that impulse has been tempered somewhat quite nicely by the presence of Space Marine 2 for a very long time, because it means I can just live out the ultimate power fantasy and just be a Space Marine for a while, you see. And that's something that I've really enjoyed. But with all of this talk of the new Ultramarines, part of me is just thinking it would be nice to actually just do an Ultramarines army. It would be nice, because I think I could do one pretty quickly, and to have it done, because I mean, obviously I have a significant Blood Angels army, and of course I'm a big fan of Imperial Fists. I've started an Imperial Fists army. White Scars, they're a big fan. I'm a big fan of those. Also the Salamanders, we have beginnings of a Salamanders army as well. And over the years I've had Grey Knights, I've had Death Watch, I've had other Blood Angels things. I've had various different things. But what I've never had properly is an Ultramarines army to be proud of. And I don't know if that's something I definitely do want. It's just something that I kind of feel like I should do at some point in my life, if you see what I mean. I can see a lot of there's been some hijinks in the chat. Firstly, Sean Lawton has been a member for 4 months. Thank you very much. And then the worst painter here has tried to distract me from the topic with a distraction. Look, a distraction from the topic at hand. And then worst painter here also with a $200 US dollar super chat, just flopping it out straight away. He's not messing around tonight. Who were you checking out? This is a bribe and a question. I'm diversifying. I genuinely wasn't. I'm just completely checked out. I saw a little red thing appear on my screen. It was a notification for a message on Discord, and I was like, "Oh, I should read that at some point," which I will. I will read after the stream. Not now, because I'm here streaming with all of you. I'm talking to all of you. We're hanging out. So, you know, all that good stuff. Thank you so much for the $200 super chat. That is exceptional. Your generosity knows no bounds, Worst Painter here. It's ridiculous, quite frankly. And I am unworthy and undeserving of your generosity. I am very, very, very appreciative of it. So thank you very much. Don't worry. Just because tonight we're talking about Space Marines does not mean MESBG is going anywhere. I've got so many cool plans for MESBG. I was thinking about it all night. And the road to Ardacon. We could do a huge amount of MESBG over the next 12 months, and I very much intend to. Because I'm gonna chop and change a lot between now and then, and I think actually just painting the stuff would be a really, really fun thing to do. So we'll see what happens. With a $100 US super chat again. Flop further bribe, but also had to flop it out for hot elves in your local area. Yes, you really want those hot elves in my local area. They are stop number one on this MESBG trail. You know this. I've already determined what we're going to be doing for that. I've just got to build it all once I get a little space to do it. But what are you guys working on tonight? If you are indeed working on anything, are you a fan of Space Marines? If you are, what are your favourite Space Marines? Do you build and paint Space Marines? Do you enjoy them? You need a Black Templar army. They are the most faithful of all the Emperor's Angels. You know, a very, very long time ago, I did have Black Templars. They weren't mine. They were my older brother's, but they became mine very swiftly because he kind of stepped away from the hobby very, very early. But it was the 3rd edition core box with the Black Templars and the Drukhari, which is my number one pick for what we could be seeing in 11th edition. So today, what I have is a box of Sternguard. I bought some Sternguard because they're cool. And I'm going to build some Sternguard today. Now, obviously, we've already sprue reviewed these, so we're not going to be doing anything like that tonight. We're just going to be building these in the background. But we're just going to be talking, hanging out, as always, having a good time. Hashut, says Ivar Greyfist. Nice. I'm working on my job to fund my bribes. and to have a decent standard of living for yourself, first and foremost. You shouldn't just have a job to fund your bribes, sir. Painting my friend's Gobsprack, the Mouth of Mork, for October. Nice. I've just finished my Anne Bonny model from Bad Squiddo Games. Awesome, Sean. Do Chaos Space Marines count? Yeah, 100% they do. Finishing the diorama competition is Saturday. Well, good luck, Wolf in Grey Pondu. We're rooting for you to finish and for the competition. Jeremy has 6,000, I'm assuming, points in Imperial Fist. Probably not far off in cash at that level as well. I'm painting Dante for my Blood Angels while I watch. Your guide was great for him. Nice. Madrill still sits on my painting desk untouched. I am a fan of Space Marines because I've never painted one fully. Did a paint test on a Dark Angel and it was too many steps. I understand that. Hello, Colonel. I am very well, sir. How are you? Says the Tattoo Zoologist. Colonel's here. I didn't see Colonel step in. Hello, Colonel. Hello, Tattoo Zoologist. No longer a son of Baal, but a son of Macragge. Well, see, this is the thing, right? When you have as many Blood Angels as I do, and let's face it, when the big core sets come out, with new stuff in it that I don't already have and haven't already done videos for. So, for example, if and when Games Workshop decides to release the new Assault Terminators, we've already done Blood Angels Terminators here on the channel. So we don't need to do them again. We really don't. And I also have 10 Blood Angels Terminators with Thunder Hammers, and I have another set of Blood Angels Terminators with Lightning Claws, and another set of Blood Angels Terminators with Thunder Hammers. 10 of which are painted, 20 of which are not. And they're the older ones, but they're the more characterful Blood Angels ones. They're on the same base size. Might as well just stick to the old ones. So, you know. So I don't know if Games Workshop does decide to send me the new box, then I need something to do with it, you know. We shall see. We shall see what happens. Not so friendly local gamer store. Oh. Blood Angels and Imperial Fist for me. Nice. What do you think of a Raven Guard army? I would love a Raven Guard army, Max. I would love a Raven Guard army. The only reason I don't have a Raven Guard army is because the Phobos range isn't quite big enough for me just yet. There needs to be a couple of extra things in the Phobos range, because it has to be all Phobos for me for Raven Guard. It's the same reason why I won't fully jump into White Scars, because there needs to be more stuff on bikes. Can't just be Outriders. I need bikes and I need land speeders. You know? And I recognise that there's 3 different variants of Storm Speeder, so I could do 9 Storm Speeders for the White Scars, but I need some bikes and stuff. So I'm hoping maybe we'll get some jet bikes eventually to go along with whatever that new Khan's name is whenever he happens. I am painting Grandfather's Gardeners, and I want to add them to Warcry because GW added rules for them. Perfect. Working on my Battle Sisters. Lovely Captain Slugbeard. Painting Abraxia. Might one true love Abraxia. Building Flawless Blades. Flying Muttley says, as my lungs keep trying to vacate the premises, painting not really an option. Might try building something instead, though. Building is less mistake intensive, as it were. Colonel's good. I'm glad you're good, Colonel. Love Hippo with a $5 super chat. What paints would you use for white and gold for Rubric Marines? Think of a scheme like the robes the Pope wears. How would I do that? I would probably... Well, I would use Retributor armor for the gold. Shade it with... Because it's trim, shade it with Reichland Flesh Shade. Highlight it with Liberator Gold. For the white, you could quite easily just... For Pope-esque robes... you could almost prime them in... It won't make much sense, but you could prime them in Wraithbone, use Seraphim Sepia, and then relayer it with Corax White. A la the Gandalf the White video, which hasn't come out yet. That has been primed in White Scar. That video will come out very soon, though. So you'll be able to see how I do that. Just minus the gold in that one. But that'd probably be how I would do it, Love Hippo. Edward705 with a member for 26 months. Legendary support says, who will be victorious? Only the faithful. Only the faithful. Do we have a theme for October? No, we don't. Not yet. It's only the 1st. I haven't had a chance to think about it yet. We will, though. I'm sure at some point. Love my Space Wars and have part of Deathwatch and Grey Knights starting armies. I'm also currently painting Custodies while we wait for the October theme. I shall announce it in Discord, of course, at some point. Assembling new Raveners. Nice. My 1,000 Suns are my favourite Space Marines that I own. Lovely. Building is less intensive. You're going to get on the build train so you fall in love with the building, Josh? No. I never fall in love with with building. Absolutely not. I refuse. I will not do it. Assembling new Raveners. Cool. Good evening, everyone. How are we tonight? We're very well, thank you, Ymer Langmar. How are you? Sternguard, you have been talking too much to Joe. I had Sternguard before Joe. Genuinely, I have loads of stone cards. I have the old ones, which sadly are no longer viable. Maybe I'll surprise you, Colonel. I'll just make... just upset everyone. What's October's theme? October's theme is Custodes. It should be October. No. Nope. No, it shouldn't. It's not my fault you all fell for a marketing ploy. Custobies. Custober. Please do some beast snaggers finally. No, we'll do orcs when I have a lot more time on my hands and when an orc codex is approaching. Sorry. It's spooky month. Go for something wicked, however we want to interpret that word. I don't generally like theming it that way, though, for custodians. I don't like theming it that way for Tales. And I'll tell you the reason I'll tell you why is I have absolutely no intention of painting a Halloween model. If you see what I mean. And I know a lot of other people don't. So I don't want to be like, do a Halloween model. Because then we're talking about Halloween 2 weeks after the end of October. See what I mean? It doesn't make any sense to me. Love your videos. You've helped my painting so much. Oh, thank you, Clicks. I'm glad I could help. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Hello, Kataro. One of these days. One of these days, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick one of the most left field requests and do that instead of the brand new thing. It'll be like, I don't know, the next edition of 40k. Next edition of 40k comes along, and everybody will be like, "Are you gonna paint the 11th edition box?" And I'll be like, "No, I'm not." Why aren't you going to paint the 11th edition box? Well, It's not what you guys asked for. So what are you going to do instead? I'm going to do Mad Doc Grotznick. Don't worry, I will come up with a theme. I'll come up with a theme soon for Tales. Hello, Jack. If we get Tyrannic War veterans, will they be in first, like, Sternguard? Is it in the first company? Good afternoon, Jack. I'm going to love when you say you do that, but the second that thought builds up, you immediately cave and don't have the ability to do that because it would be such a hit to possible traffic. That's true. No, one of these days I will do it. But sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. I didn't do the new thing. I didn't have time. I was too busy painting a slaughter brute. And then I'll be like, Uno reverse! I did it anyway! Just 2 weeks behind everyone, and so no one watched the video. Has anyone seen those new true metallic metal paints from Vallejo? Can't wait to get my hands on some. Gonna paint so much trim. I saw them, Croatoan. I expressed a desire to have them. I would very much like to have a go with those true metallic paints because they are very, 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 very pretty. The couple that I saw, and if you guys haven't already, Juan Hidalgo released a video previewing a couple of them. My goodness me, some of them look absolutely incredible. The shades. Oh, the shades. He hasn't previewed the whole lot. He said there was about 80 paints in the range or something insane like that. So, yeah, there's... I don't know. But if you haven't checked it out, Vallejo have announced the true metallic range, and it looks incredible. And I very, very much want to get my hands on them and have a go. Because, yeah, just... that's the kind of product that I need in my life, 100%. I want to see what it's all about. You know, Horus Heresy fans of the world rejoice. If they are as good as the few that I've seen look, they look amazing. New True Metallics, Vallejo. What is new on them? So they've redone the entire. They've done an entire range called True Metallic Metal, and they are... there's different color metallics, for example. So there's blue metallics, but not only is it like... there's just a blue metallic. They've done it in a 4-point triad. A 4-point thing, I think, was what I saw. Or it might have been 3. Either way, what you have is you have a dark metallic, a light metallic, a shade... I think there might have been a 4th one for each of these kind of these color spaces. So for like red, blue, gold, presumably, all this kind of thing. So in Juan's video, he demonstrates painting a metallic crimson fist with them, and they look incredible. 11th edition box, paint the orcs like Iron Jaws and Space Marines like Celestial Vindicators. I mean, I could do that. There's a really difficult sort of balancing act one does as a Warhammer YouTube painter, right? There's the thing of what am I trying to say? When a new model comes out, right, and it's a generic model that can fit into a number of different factions, aka a Space Marine, right? So something like an 11th edition box, which will have some Space Marines in it. Naturally, what people want to see is you paint every single chapter under the sun, and everyone wants to see a video on their chapter, which I get, 100% get. So, you know, logic dictates that you get just a ton of those boxes and then paint up one of the troop in it. Let's just call it an intercessor, for lack of a better word, in every single one. However, here's the balancing act problem. I am a collector of the models myself. So not only do I want to make videos for all of you to enjoy and to find useful for to enjoy painting your models when you get them, but I also want to enjoy painting my models for me, because inevitably I want to use them to play the games. So when a box like something like Indomitus, for example, comes out, I want to paint them all for my Blood Angels, because I want to use them in my Blood Angels army. Or if I'm going to start a new one, I'll do that kind of thing. But that's not obviously the most content efficient way of doing things, because, you know, you end up with sort of 6 to 8 videos invariably covering the same thing. So arguably, for me as a content creator, what I should do is I should as a content creator slash enjoyer of tabletop wargaming and playing the games themselves and wanting to be able to use the miniatures, what I should do theoretically is have sort of 5 or 6 different Space Marine armies that I can be like, this one will fit into my Imperial Fists, for example, and going that way. Problem is, you don't get anywhere very fast doing that. So yeah, it's the eternal balance. That's the problem. What would you do? Because you're all, I presume, fans of Warhammer. How would you tackle such a thing? Be interested to get your opinion. Would you selflessly paint the whole box in completely different colours, or would you faction lock it and do one single video that's how to paint the new box as such and such? Would you do as I do? Would you do several different individual videos just in case something comes out or something comes up as you're painting? I'd probably have a limited number of personal armies, but do lots of other schemes for the clicks. That said, I have no clue what drives viewership. It's a difficult question to answer, that one, because sometimes you have no idea what drives viewership. Sometimes a model will do spectacularly well and you won't understand why, and sometimes a model will do spectacularly badly, and when you think it's like a home run, you think it's a slam dunk. Hello, Pritters. It really depends on the situation. That doesn't help, easy peasy lemon squeezy. I think from a monetary perspective, your approach seems absolutely reasonable. Fair. As a private person, I would also try different things per model just because I love the diversity. Fair. Make it faction locked, but if this was for content, it would be different schemes because there are a lot of different schemes. Fair. I don't mind having tons of projects. Personally, I think GW should be supplying you with pretty much whatever you need from them in terms of models and paint. That would be very nice of them, but I am but one man. How do you decide which primer to use? I have decided on the crazy lizards / birds I want to base my dinos on and want them to be super bright. The way I decide on primer is basically, is it warm, is it cold? If it's warm, it's Wraithbone, because Wraithbone is warm and therefore it appears brighter. If it's cold, it's Greyseer, because I don't want it to have much, warmth behind the eyes, as it were. So stuff like armor generally tends to be quite cold unless it's like a very warm color like yellow, in which case you just want to pump that yellow by having a warm tone underneath it by having Wraithbone. So the thing to do is look at the sort of the tone of color that you want and what is the main color, and is it warm or is it cold? If it's warm, you want to put on some Wraithbone, and if it's cold, you want to put on some Greyseer. Of course, White Scar is also an option as more of a neutral thing, but it is a bit brighter in general, but it won't pump the warmth and it won't pump the cool, as it were. So yeah, it's basically it's okay. I mean, there's no like hard and fast rule for it, because a lizard could be cold and therefore primed in Greyseer, but a lizard could also be warm because it's bright. So like like those like like if you look at like a picture of a, let's have a look. So if you look at like a rainforest tree frog, the green is very, very, very warm, as is like the sort of orange and red of their eyes, as is any kind of blue markings that they might have. So like a rainforest red-eyed tree frog, for example, you would prime that with Wraithbone because you want to bring out the warmth of those colours. Whereas if you would look at something like an iguana, some iguanas are really, really dull, and like sort of greyish, and like the green doesn't have like that sort of like super sort of vibrant colour choice, so therefore it's more cold, if you see what I mean. That's the way to determine it, really. Red-headed agama. Red-headed agama. Oh, that is pretty. Oh, wow. Because that orange is such a orangey red. Because that orangey red is such a kind of striking part of the color. I would suggest Wraithbone, because you want that to like blaze with fire, and so therefore having that warm undertone for it, that would help it. Because if you're going to go for like black or sort of blue underneath it, that can be as dark as you like, you know. But like that sort of fiery orangey red, you want Wraithbone for that. That's what I would suggest. Because there will be a few that won't be doing as well, but there will always be that 1% that looks into it. Oh yeah, for 100%. With every video I ever put up, somebody watches it. Just not many people watch some of them. I think it makes sense what you do with the troop choice in several different colours. I would probably do the famous second founding factions. Everyone and his mum is going to be doing videos on the main legends. True. Yes, I don't know my space. I don't know many schemes of Space Marines that I like more than the first foundings, you know. Hello, Captain Mannerings. Good evening, Demogorgon. How are you? Telling you which contrasts you would use. Oh, well, so the very first picture I saw when I looked at Red-Headed Agama is the one on Wikipedia. It's very, 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 very dark. Or blue, almost black. Essentially, for the head, I would use Gryph-hound Orange. And for the body, what I would do is I would go and use Black Legion. But what I would do is I would dry brush it gently up with some blue paints. Not blue-grey, like Rust Grey or Fenrisian Grey. I would go like blue. So use something like dry brush up Elatok, then Hoeth Blue, for example, over the top of the Black Legion. Probably what I would do. Have you ever used Xandri Dust for contrasts? As in as a primer? No, I've never started from Xandri Dust. Xandri Dust is very yellow, so it would very much add a yellow filter. Well, it wouldn't be a filter, it would be a yellow. It would add a yellow tone to every colour. So it would really work for like pumping maybe yellow over it. But it's not particularly neutral Xandri Dust. It's the same way that Mechanica Standard Grey. I've used Mechanica Standard Grey when we're going like large dark rocks, for example. That's made sense because Mechanica Standard Grey is very grey anyway, but it's not a neutral colour. 145. Have you considered selling models you paint that you don't have interest in playing or displaying on the shelf? I have. I have indeed considered it. There are some that I do intend to sell. And they're probably not the ones that you want. Which model are you after in particular, Justin? Or are you not? It's okay. Either way. Oh no, I enjoy painting things myself too much to commission models out. That's fair. That's fair. Quite often that conversation, whenever I have that conversation with somebody, have you considered selling your models? I say yes, but they're probably not the ones that you want. They go, oh right, which ones are you thinking of selling? I was like, well, you tell me which ones you think I don't want, and they'll be like, okay, on no. And then it's almost always followed up with that's funny, that conversation. I get that conversation a lot on Instagram, which is one of the reasons why I'm really bad at responding to messages on Instagram, because invariably most of the time it's somebody saying, I'll give you a tenner for your Bellacore, and I'm like, no, I think that's more than a fair price. Oh, do you? Cool story, bro. Have you ever considered entering a Golden Demon contest? Considered it and done it, Love Hippo. I entered Golden Demon at Warhammer Fest and came away with nothing. Not so much as a pat on the back. I was I was rocked to my core when that happened. You came away with depression. Yes, correct. Okay, I might be able to stretch to £15. Oh, now see, now that's a tempting offer, Demogorgon. £15 for a linchpin model, one of the favourites of my collection. You know, I was prepared to go at 14, but 15. Fine, yeah, go for it. $20, but only if you pay shipping. Whoa! Can anyone advance on 20? £5 and the packet of hobnobs for your hallowed knights. So you want an entire army? I mean, it's true. I wouldn't have to move them. I mean, I would have to paint them all again. Or, you know, just not. Guys, stop. The bidding has gotten out of control. It's almost not insulting. It is a packet of hobnobs, that's true. Sacrificing a labour of love over many, many moons for about 25 minutes worth of eating hobnobs. It's true. Are there rules about reselling the stuff GW sends you? There are some guidelines on what not to do. There's also, I think there's also an ethical, from my point of view, and I also think that hobbyists worldwide would also take quite a dim view of it. There are some, like, I have a sort of personal ethics code on it as well. In that, if Games Workshop sends me a set of models, and you guys know that they've sent me a set of models. So, for example, like the something like the other 5 Death Riders of the Death Corps of Krieg, right? I think as long as I've painted, and to be clear, I still have them because I intend to do them. As long as I've painted a video for it, if I wanted to, like, pass on those Death Riders to somebody else, I think that's okay. You know, if somebody really needed them for something, I would be like, do you know what? I'll send them to you, and I can always buy a set of Death Riders to replace them. If you see what I mean? I don't think there's anything wrong per se with selling a paint job. I just think that there is also just like a they don't send you models for you to make money. They send you models to make content. If you see what I mean. So. That, I think, is the general guideline on it. We totally don't know when you get new models. No idea. Nope. Hey, by chance, are the new Underworld warbands sitting within reaching distance of you? No. No, they're not. I really need Be'lakor. You really need Be'lakor. So I should just give mine to yours. It's one of my favourite models. Watching the football and painting is not working. I completely understand, Edward, if you stop watching me. Football, important. Painting, important. Me, talking about Space Marines, less so. I'd like to do a modern Sons of Horus 40k Chaos thing. Would you add any colour to complement the nice job you do on the Horus Heresy video for them? Because they will be Chaos Marines now. That's an interesting question. I don't know. I think I need to go back and revisit Sons of Horus a little bit, because I think I have actually finally cracked the code on it. And I hadn't previously. But no, I don't know if I would. You'd probably you'd want a more garish metallic for the trim on the Space Marines and stuff. That would make it. That would do it. I've been thinking of grabbing Underworlds to paint. I just don't much care for these 4 warbands in a box when I may only want 1. That's fair, Sly Guy 77. Have you got anyone that you can like? You can do like a part exchange with, because you could go splitsy on a box, as it were. I'm going to give this sergeant a power fist. Am I? Or do I give him a power sword? What have I done before? YouTube! Because I did do these. Warhipster, Stern Guard. I did them as salamanders last time. I gave him the chain sword. I'm going to go with the power fist. Why not? No, wait. Can you do power fist and Stern Guard bolt gun? You probably can't, can you? Power sword it is. It doesn't make sense to have a big gun and a sword. Sorry, big gun and a big fist. Let's go with power sword. I like it. It makes sense to me. Space Marines. Yes, Space Marines res. They are the best. I'm building some Stern Guard. In the box that turned up today. The box that turned up today actually contained a birthday present from Adam, and it was Helm's Deep. The old terrain set from Games Workshop. I now have the gatehouse and 2 wall sections of the infamous fortress. The box is enormous. That is something I've wanted for a very, very long time, ever since I was a young warthog. Which is very, very kind of him. I have no idea where he got it from, but he got it somehow. Walk softly and carry a big gun. Exactly. Like, the gun is the better choice here. I've actually been painting models as well lately. He has. He built an entire Space Marine army the other day. Which also obviously didn't help towards what we're doing today. Because I was jealous. It's like, I want to build a Space Marine army. No fair. I want it. Huh. Let's give him... I kind of want to give him... let's give him the laurels. Let's do that. And they also have a little sort of cruxy Terminatus-y type thing going on. Which one have they put on? They've put on the one with a little eye, so we'll go with that. Oh god, that nearly dropped to the floor. I'm painting Blood Ravens, though. Nothing wrong with painting Blood Ravens. I very recently did a Blood Raven myself. It's quite a fun experience, that one. I think we came up with a pretty good scheme for him. If you yourself have used it already, or if you've seen the video, let me know. Not just you, Rez. I mean, people in general out there. Oh, you used the tutorial. Oh, fair enough. We have to put a back banner on him, don't we? That's just kind of the rules, isn't it? That's just the law. What fast food chain do you think would have the best 40k crossover / kids / adult meal? I don't know about that. That's a very tricky question, but I do feel like McDonald's has the best crossover. The reason being is that the characters of McDonald's are themselves a pantheon of chaos nightmare. Fake Street Spirit's been a member for 20 months. Hi from Jamaica. Glad to catch you before my next meeting. Well, hello to you in Jamaica. Are you having a lovely time? So are we going to go helmet on for these guys, or are we going to go helmet off? We'll go helmet on. Eight. 11. And 12. Has to be done. Have to have a back banner. It's the rules. I recently found out Mantis Warriors is a good Nurgle colour. Yeah, I used it myself very recently on Lady Malice on her poison. And do you know what? I thought, do you know what? I've avoided... I've never really found a use for this colour as of yet, but I could absolutely see some uses for it now. It is a nice colour. It's just always been not quite right for some of the things that I've been doing, so I've not been able to use it. So I was really pleased when I was like, this has got to be the right colour for Lady Malice. Are you building admin marines? I'm building some Stern Guard. I don't know what they're going to fit into yet. Well, I've nearly built a Stern Guard. It's not been the most productive of streams. But, you know, I'm enjoying hanging out with you guys. I hope you're enjoying hanging out with me. No, you suck. Guys. Always wear a helmet unless you're sure. That is advice for life, isn't it? Taco Bell Demonculaba box. Ugh. Alright, which way round is... Oh, there's only one way around it can go. Work is hell. I don't like to hear that. I have a very cushy job. Which is, of course, getting to do this with you guys. And release lots and lots and lots and lots of painting content. But I remember having awful jobs. Which is why I don't ever want to go back to it. But this is my full-time job. And that leads us in quite nicely to do something that I keep forgetting to do. Which is to say, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, please do leave a like on the stream. Because if you like the stream, more people find the stream. And if more people find the stream, more people watch the stream. And if more people watch the stream, more people subscribe to the channel. And if they subscribe to the channel, they might watch some of my videos. And if they watch some of my videos, then that means I get some ad revenue. And that is how I pay the bills. Alternatively, if you wish to, you can support the channel with some money. There's a couple of ways to do that. Of course, right here on YouTube. You can consider leaving a super chat down below where you get to ask a question or something like that. You get to do that. Alternatively, you could consider becoming a member of the channel. And if you are already a member, then you know, of course, full well that you can gift some other members to other people who might want to join our wonderful community of Warhipsters around the world, as far away as Jamaica and various other places today. But, and if you don't want to give YouTube any money whatsoever, there is a link down in the description where you can use PayPal to send a little money directly to me. But of course, only if you want to. We are 6 likes away from 50. So we're nearly there. We're nearly at the level that I like. Do we think Predators, Rhinos, Vindicators will get a refresh in 11th? Not sure what tanks to add to my wolves, and I prefer the Rhino chassis older tanks. I don't know if they will. My instinct, as always, is to say, no, I don't think they will get a refresh. But I've been proven very wrong on that front many, many times now. One with a little skull in the middle. Yes, that's the one. The interesting thing I found was... here's the reason why I don't... One of the reasons why I don't think they'll get a refresh is the drop pod was refreshed for 40k, and then the old drop pod was moved into Horus Heresy. The reason I say this is because in Horus Heresy, the Deimos pattern Rhino, Predator, Vindicator, all that stuff has had its own have had its own kits released. So either they're gonna just scrap the Rhino and stuff like that, and it will go nowhere. It won't go into Horus Heresy or anything like that, or it'll just stick around until they can think of something else to do. Is what I think. But in this edition, it has been the edition of the remodel and the remaster. Who knows if 11th edition will be the same. I could see 11th edition being less of that and being a lot more sort of innovation and new stuff, and actually being a bit of a cull of some older things. But I don't know. I honestly don't know. Part of me feels like the wiser thing to do is to buy those Horus Heresy versions, because at least if the 40k versions do go, you can always do those Horus Heresy. You can always use those Horus Heresy ones for Horus Heresy, as it were. Would be the advice I would give. But that's because I'm quite cynical about 40k these days. Harpy's Fulgrim 7 meat meal. This sounds unpleasant. My steel helms often fight like they have an endorsement deal with Wimpy. Ah, Wimpy. There used to be a Wimpy. I don't know if it's still there. It might not be actually by now. There used to be a Wimpy in Streatham, where I used to live. And we always talked about going into Wimpy, but we never did it. Why does he feel a bit naked? Space Marines really do have an impossible waist, don't they? He needs a thing on his hip. That's what he needs. Have we got any? Yeah. Lately you had horse heresy. I did. I need to edit that video. That's going to take a while. I checked it the other day. I'll check it again. Hang on, because I was like, oh, this is going to be a long video. That's what happens when you paint 15 different recipes in one thing. Horses. 85 clips. Which actually on average isn't too bad. For something that has 15 different recipes. It's an average of 5 steps per horse. But how many clops? Many clops. You might say an equivalent amount of clops. Space Marines have an impossible waste. Ah, yes, the Barbies of the 40k world. What are we actually making? I'm building some Stone Guard. If you don't put the pouches on their hips, they are impossible. Because they go like this. If you put the pouches on their hips, it's okay. Just about. It gives them sort of the width that they needed. Same problem that the Stormcast used to have before they put them in robes. When they put them in robes, they were like, oh, okay, this makes sense. But before, they were just like these fat babies. Burger Star, best by far. Oh, I certainly agree with that. We have a Burger Star in Cheltenham, and I love it. I used to go all the time to the one in Stroud. It's not there anymore. Auckland, thank you very much for becoming a member. You are our first new member of the day. I'm going to go out on a limb and say you also play... No, I didn't play that game. I heard about it. I was told about it. I didn't play it. Evening all, joining late as daughter using laptop for homework. She waves hi to all, by the way. Hello! 'Twas your birthday. Yesterday. Chat, everybody wish Alaric's daughter a happy birthday. We've got to get you out to the US, get you some of the best fast food. Yes, please, Jack. I love fast food. That's why I'm a barrel of a man now. Burger Star and Stroud was my adolescence. We may have crossed paths, Fake Street Spirit, when I was much younger. I have built one Stern Guard Space Marine. It took me an hour and 15 minutes, but I've done it. It's the problem with trying to do this live. Get distracted. Love getting distracted. Because it's building, and I don't like building, as you all know. But building, unfortunately, is the prerequisite to having miniatures. So it must be done. Let's see if we can build at least one more. Take less time doing it as well. I saw a postcard out of the corner of my eye from Rabbit Squirrel 22 Ben. Evening Warhipster. Thank you very much for the $5, by the way. Evening Warhipster. Just curious if Mortarion, Gilliman, or Perturabo are nearing completion. I have all three built and awaiting your guides. They are not nearing completion. Gilliman is in. Oh God, this is a difficult sentence. Gilliman is in progress. I need to put Perturabo into the drink. I'd like to do all three in a row. So what I need is a week. At the moment, it's looking like the last week of October might be good. Because I'm very, very busy. At the moment. Mortarion I've done a little bit more to, in between some other things, but I haven't done much to him. But thank you very much for the 5. I'll get Perturabo cleaned up, and then I'll get him and Gilliman built at the same time. That'll be sensible for me. Which Marines have called to you? I am currently... Hello, Artistic Outlaw, otherwise known as James. I'm currently building some Stern Guard. That's currently what I'm doing. Gonna be a Primarch Bonanza week. Oh, yeah. It would be good to get another 3 off the old docket. We won't be far off having done all of them then at that point. I nearly considered when Perturabo came back in stock, I nearly considered getting Vulcan as well, but he was out of stock. So I was like, nah, just buy Perturabo now. Get him here, and then we'll figure out how we get our hands on the others at a later date. Love the Stone Guard kit. So do I. It's lovely. It's not as lovely as the old Stone Guard kit. There was an old Stone Guard kit which had some really cool pieces on it. So there's one where Space Marine's leaning his hand on the pommel of a sword that's in his sheath. Love that piece. I really loved it. It was called a Blood Angel Stone Guard kit, of which I bought 2 and built and painted. They were amongst them of my first contrast painted Marines, actually, those Stone Guard. But this is still a very, very nice kit. It had a really nice power fist in it, as I recall, as well. I've probably still got pieces from it somewhere. In fact, I almost certainly do, because I loathe to throw anything away, which is a problem. I'm gonna have to start doing that. I'm gonna have to start throwing things away. I'm gonna have to start dealing with it eventually. Because we've got so many things to do when the big move happens. Gonna have to deal with that world's biggest bits box. Alice is on board to help me clip it. I'll have to do that sooner rather than later. We are, after all, in the throes of buying a house. Going to meet a solicitor today, tomorrow. Worst painter here, who is not the worst painter here, with another $100 super chat. Says, Josh loves building. You heard it here, folks. Again, very generous of you, sir. Thank you very, very much. You know that is not true. Building sucks. Feel like selling bits is more sensible than throwaway. Oh yeah, no. We're not gonna throw it away. It is going to take a whole day, I suspect, but I'm gonna figure out a way to disseminate the world's biggest bits box out to somebody out there, to either a lucky individual or to many lucky individuals. I haven't decided which quite way to do it yet. I do feel like it will require a video to go along with it so that people understand what it is that they might be getting themselves in for. Because when I say world's biggest bits box, it probably isn't the world's biggest bit spot, but it's probably not far off. If you think of how many videos I've produced over the last 4 or 5 years, and then think of how many spares that generates, most of them are still here. Not all. Some things have been passed on already. I couldn't tell you what, because I can't remember. There's been the very occasional things where, like, somebody has said, you wouldn't happen to have any spare chain axes, for example. I'd be like, actually, do you know what? Yes, I do. And so I've sent them. I'm gonna actively buying. Congratulations, although everyone always hates their solicitors. Yes, I'm sure that's what we're going to be going through. Hello, it's Rosalie Grace on my phone. I can watch independently on my own. Still signed in as Alaric, though. Hello, Rosalie. How are you? Did you have a nice birthday? Worst pay to hear with yet another $100 super chat. You need to stop now. You need to stop now. Crowtime, this is not for his house. This is for hot elves in the local area. Bribes are healthy, right? Right? They're healthy for me. I even wrote a Halls of Thranduil list for Ardacon. And that's what we're going to paint in our Road to Ardacon series. I really need a Dark Oath shield. Any chance you can put one aside for me? Well, I'll have to hunt through. I don't know where those are, but they'll be here somewhere. It will be such a relief to just clear the decks. Honestly, I cannot tell you how much of a relief that's going to be when we do it. I saved so many bits with the intention that I'm going to do something with it. I did. I'm going to My Chemical Romance next year. I'm so jealous. Oh. You have great taste. I don't care who knows it. I love My Chemical Romance. I'm not a teenager anymore. I'm not going to get bullied by my friends at school for liking them. I'll just get bullied by my chat instead. Mate, honestly. One of my top 5 favourite bands of all time. I saw them a long time ago. I saw My Chemical Romance at Leeds Festival, and it was one of the best. It was one of the best gigs I've ever been to. I was so happy. Oh, I was so happy. Okay, well that's just incorrect. That piece doesn't go on there, does it? Only component 25. Where the hell's that? I have no idea what component I've clipped off. Curse you. Anaxonomu! Oh, Joe. It's never ever fails to make me laugh. It's one of the random things. One night I was just playing Space Marine 2 with Joe and it just popped into my head and I was just like, I have to stim it, of course. I just Moon. Josh, everyone in their 30s secretly love MCR. Black Parade album defined a generation. It did. It did. I mean, look, so much of 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge. Just, yeah. But My Chemical, Welcome to the Black Parade was. It's so funny when I got to uni in my second year, I lived with another guy called Josh, and he was like, we had this sort of like awkward moment where we were like, we were just listening. I think we were listening to my music on my hi-fi, and it shuffled on, and it was we shuffled on to I think it would have been. Oh, what song was it? I think it was Mama. Mama, we all go to hell. Mama, we all go to hell. That one. And there was this moment. There was this moment where we were like... He was like... Are you a fan of My Chemical Romance? And I was like... Yeah. Are you? He's like, yeah, massive fan. And we're like, That's so funny. Oh, I kind of want to just put it on now, but I'm not allowed. Long ago, just like the hearse, you dare to get in again. We are so far from you. Oh. She has inherited it from me, and I'm 47 in a couple of weeks. Oh, I mean, I do also enjoy. I always get the name of the album wrong. Is it Danger Days? The True Lives of the Fabulous Killjoys? Is that the full name of the album? I do enjoy that album. Nothing ever kind of reaches the peak of Welcome to the Black Parade. Well, the Black Parade. Foo Fighters, The Colour and the Shape was my musical awakening. I also got two completely separate messages there. My first Foo Fighters album was is it called In Your Honor? The double disc. Yes, it is. In Your Honor. And actually, that was the second gig I ever went to. First gig I ever went to was The Who at Ashton Park, supported by the Zootons. That was the first ever gig I went to. Second gig I ever went to was Hyde Park, headlined by Foo Fighters, supported by Angels and Airwaves, Queens of the Stone Age. Excuse me. Who else was there? Oh God, it's going to annoy me now. It was Foo Fighters, Hyde Park, 2006. That was it. Motorhead were there. Juliet and the Licks. think that was it. But yeah, that was my second ever gig. It was amazing. What was the best gigs you ever went to? Congrats on level 35 last week. Sorry I missed the stream closer to your birthday. Oh, thank you, Morgan. That's very kind of you. Thank you. Monkey Wrench being a full banger. My first ever band that I was in, we used to cover Monkey Wrench. What are we done with innocence? It disappeared with time. It never made much sense. Still got it. Best gig, Prodigy at Brixton. I've seen the Prodigy a couple of times, but the best time I saw them was at Milton Keynes Bowl. So I heard you read the Siege of Terra series, Warhipster. What did you think of Solar Wall and the First Wall? They were in the lower half of my favourite ones. Hang on. Siege of Terra books. Yeah, I really didn't like the Solar War. And like the first wall, I thought just took ages to get started, and then didn't really go anywhere. Abbott Brothers in the Ryman Halloween early 2000s. Nice. I saw Meshuggah live in Gdansk and it was a life-changing experience. Metallica in 1989. Was that just before the Black Album? What album were they touring on in 1989? Because the Black Album was... Yeah, 1991. "30 Seconds to Mars" at the Apollo. Did the whole Beautiful Light album in set order. Nice. I saw 30 Seconds to Mars at the same Leeds festival that My Chemical Romance. It was a good lineup that year. We can agree Mortis was easily the worst. Yes, we can. Well, I think Solar War is the worst. Solar War is the worst because it doesn't need to be written. It's just the same thing over and over and over and over and over again for a book, and we know that they get there. So at no point is the outcome of any of what's going on in that in any doubt whatsoever. That's the thing that really annoyed me about the Solar War. I was like, we might be able to hold them. No. We're all dead. We might be able to hold them here. No. They're all dead. They get to Terra. Hardcover, thank you so much for the £10 super chat. £10? $10 super chat. Just stopping by to say thanks for the Contrast Plus series. Did my Aquilons with your process, and I'm heading to my local game store after work to get the paints I need for your Deathwatch scheme. Nice hardcover. Oh, I love those Aquilons. I kept forgetting that I have them, and I looked over the other day and I was like, oh, they need to go into my lists. Best gig I ever went to was Foo Fighters in Milton Keynes 2008-ish. In 2008, that was when I saw... I think 2008 was when I first saw Metallica at Wembley. That was a great gig. That was a really good gig. They were supposed to be supported by Bullet for My Valentine, and they weren't. They were instead supported by him, which was very funny because the crowd wasn't happy about that. So you thought Warhawk was the best. Is that because of Khan and Sigismund basically at their peak or some other reason? Warhawk, for me, Warhawk was the best Siege of Terra book because it maintains tension all the way through. It actually has an outcome that we didn't know in the past. In the past it's the old like blurbs and things were, and the Khan took back the spaceport by riding out. And that was the end of the thing. You didn't know what actually happened to him. But instead you learnt some valuable new information about him and what happened there. But also just the Khan just comes off so well in that book. And it's so complete. But not only that, as a book, it like I said, it keeps the pace and the tension going all the way through. It's basically an action film from start to finish with some really nice characterful moments on the side. Warhawk is, to my mind, it's one of the best, not only Siege books, it's one of the best Horus Heresy books. It's so good. I feel like you could pick Warhawk up and then just be like, just read this one because it's spectacular. It's so good. And the Khan is such a legend in it. Uh, 20 friends from college had a mini tournament this past weekend at one of their family farms. 10 tables set up. I got third in the painting comp thanks to your videos. Thanks for being my Bob Ross. Oh, that's very kind of you, Morgan Carver. Thank you. Let me ask, are you painting mysterious secret stuff this week? I am painting mysterious secret stuff every week. As you know, worst painter here. I cannot tell you. But I'm painting cool stuff. Best festival was Glastonbury 95. First live performance of both What's the Story and Disco 2000. Singles from both came out the following Monday. Well, that's pretty sick. I love how you have to call me what I am, hence my name staying this for so long. But you're not. My metal awakening was Pagan Fest in Houston 2007. Teresa's... I cannot pronounce any of those. My absolute favourite and first metal show. Nice. You did the novellas of the Siege of Terra, right? Yeah, I did. I think I read most of them. I didn't like how a lot of what I thought were A plots were consigned to being B plots. To the very lengthy retelling of the things that we already knew happened. If you see what I mean. Potential anti-tank option for my wolves. Double Brutalis. No worry about refresh then. That is a possibility. That is certainly a possibility. Do you know what one of my favorite gigs I ever went to was Slam Dunk Festival in 2000 and I think it was 10. Was it 2010 or 2011? Hang on. Slam Dunk Festival 2011. Three and three, main open road, starting line, Goldfinger, anti-flag, less than Jake, real big fish. Oh, it might have been this one. Hang on, was it 2010? It wasn't 2012. Yeah, it was 2011. I had such a good time at that. Yes, set your goals. Yeah. So I watched I watched Less Than Jake, The Starting Line, Anti-Flag, Goldfinger, The Skints, Mayday Parade, Attack, Set Your Goals. Oh yeah, this was yeah. I had a great time there though. And then another really good gig that same year as I saw Rise Against in the O2 in Leeds, and that was like the third or fourth time I'd seen them, but they played so much of Appeal to Reason that I was so happy. Just, you know, it kills me not to know this, but I've all but just forgotten what the color of her eyes were, or her scars, or how she got them. So happy. I went to Reading Festival 2008, 2009. I think I went 2010 as well. Hang on. Reading Festival 2010. Yes, went to that one. 2011, yeah. Yeah. So Reading Festival 2008, the three main headliners were Rage Against the Machine, The Killers, and Metallica. Other bands that also made the cut were Queens of the Stone Age, Biffy Clyro, Serge Tankian, Taking Back Sunday, Anti-Flag again, Block Party, We Are Scientists, Dirty Pretty Things, Manic Street Preachers, Bullet for My Valentine, Less Than Jake, C6 Steve, of course, Mystery Jets, Tenacious D, Slipknot, who unfortunately did not appear at the festival, Feeder, who were amazing, Avenged Sevenfold, who also did not appear at the festival, Dropkick Murphys, Plain White Tees, and Alexis on Fire. It was so good. Oh, I was so happy. Good night, Rosalie. I hope you have a lovely sleep. And I hope you have a good week. Thanks for hanging out. I see you on your own account now. Oh, chat broke. 2009 Reading Festival. That was Kings of Leon, Arctic Monkeys, and Radiohead were the three main headliners. 2010 was Guns N' Roses, Arcade Fire, and Blink-182. And then 2011 was My Chemical Romance, The Strokes, and Muse. It was good. Someone snap a photo of Warhipster's face right there and make him put that as his profile pic. No. Metal Mania 2003 in Spain. Iron Maiden, Blind Guardian, Nightwish, Masterplan, Rhapsody, and many more. That sounds sick. Oh, another fantastic gig I went to. One of the best. One of the best. I would probably put it in my top 3, actually. Was Project Revolution at Milton Keynes Bowl. And I went. It was. It was Linkin Park, Jay-Z, Pendulum, NERD, Enter Shikari, The Bravery. Yeah, I got to basically the headline of that was Linkin Park and Jay-Z. It went Jay-Z, then it went Linkin Park, and then it went Linkin Park and Jay-Z. And I was like, yes, this is all the things I wanted. You know, best album ever made. Collision Course. And we all agree on that. Or at least me and my older brother do, and that's what matters. Some other really impressive bands I saw here in Notts were Cult of Luna, All That Remains, and Children of Bodom. I've seen Children of Bodom. Got to see Judas Priest and Alice Cooper a couple of days ago in Toronto. It was awesome. That does sound awesome. I missed seeing Muse at a festival because the girl I was dating at the time wanted to go see The Verve perform Bittersweet Sympathy instead. Regrets. Look, there's a bunch of bands that we've at festivals which we missed out on seeing because we were there with ex-girlfriends. The only Reading I went to had Eminem headlining as he stomped about waving a bag of Anadin. I was in a tent watching the awesome Hefner. Was that... Was that the one in 2017? Or was it the one on 2013? Because 2013 was a gig I really wanted to go to, but I didn't have any money at the time. But the headliners of that year were Green Day, Eminem, and Biffy Clyro. But Green Day was supported by, well, the band before Green Day was System of a Down. And I just didn't have the cash at the time to go. all my housemates went, and I was so devastated. 2001. Those were the days. Those were the days. A-level results treat. That makes sense. I went. My first time I went to Reading. That was a birthday. That was my 18th birthday. Yeah. Josh needs cash. Noted. Off to PayPal I go. No, I needed cash 8 years ago. 8 years ago? No, longer. 12 years ago. I'd been living in London for about a year at that point. And it was only... So when my first year in London, I worked a part-time job, basically. Because I moved there in 2012 after I graduated from university. And I got a job. I got a job at the Olympics. And then after that, I worked in a charity call center for about 2 months, and that was horrible. And then I got a job at Sky, but that didn't start till January. So yeah, I was very poor around about the time that the tickets went live. So I was like, I can't afford to go, so I shan't go. And then obviously it sold out. And then I worked a part-time job from January to January. It's horrifying, man. I think back to that time and I'm like, you absolutely couldn't do it now. You just couldn't. Not with how much things cost these days. I just about scraped by at the time. But yeah, I did a did a year in London on a salary that was it's really rough. The only way I managed to make it through was I did some ridiculous amounts of overtime during some periods. Those were the days, eh? Those were the days. I was then at Sky for a very long time. I was there for 4 years. But we don't have time to go into my entire backstory because it's 25 minutes past 10. It means it's time for us to start wrapping things up neatly with a bow. So, thank you very much for hanging out with me tonight. Tomorrow, there will be a video. It will be Contrast Plus, How to Paint this fella. Or, well, this lady, I should say. Because she's a lady. The new Drukhari Archon in the colours of the Cabal of the Black Heart. So that video will be out for you tomorrow. There might be a video on Friday. I don't know. It depends on how the rest of my week goes. Maybe we'll get Gandalf out on Friday. Just get him done. Get him done and get him out. And then, yeah, we'll be back live again on Monday at 5:30 PM BST. But thank you very much for hanging out with me tonight. I managed to build 1.5 stern guards, so that's very unproductive. But I had a really nice chat with all of you, and that's really what happened. That's really what counts. I hope you've been entertained by tonight. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. Is there a theme for Tales in October yet? No, I will pop it in Discord in the coming days. Have a good think about it over the next sort of 48 hours. I'll get it out there soon. But yeah. We'll have to do another musical stream. I'll play my guitar for all of you at some point. Maybe I'll cover the entirety of Welcome to the Black Parade on the acoustic guitar. Anyway, thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. I will see you very soon when I see you. Here is the hand of farewell. Bye for now. Love you, chat. Love you very much. Bye.